Hi, I'm Audrey Rudick, a technical assistance provider with the Center for Integration of IDEA Data, also known as CID.
And I'm Lindsay Wise, also a technical assistance provider with CID. Today, we hope to provide an overview of the CID's Data Integration Toolkit's first two steps and how they build a platform that sets the stage for a successful and timely Generate implementation.
Before talking about how we support the implementation of Generate, let's talk a little bit about what Generate is. Generate is a freely available software application that improves data quality and automates EDVACS reporting. It uses state data that has been aligned to the Common Education Data Standards, or CEDS, within an operational data store. These data are aggregated to allow for push-button reporting, including EDVACS reporting. With states looking forward to EDVACS modernization, many are considering the implementation of Generate.
CID provides technical assistance to states to integrate IDEA data into their statewide longitudinal data systems. The comprehensive support that CID provides includes training, meeting facilitation, IT support for the design of the process to extract, transform, and load data into the warehouse, and of course, install and generate.
To support these tasks, CID has created a data integration toolkit. The steps in this toolkit are designed to provide a roadmap for integrating data. Each step contains specific tasks and activities that promote holistic project planning and lead to sustainability. The steps were created by CID experts, including former SEA staff. They contain industry-accepted best practices framed for SEA needs and are created to lead to success. In this presentation, we will talk you through the first steps of the toolkit and share with you some of the templates and products that we have to make the process simpler for state teams. We will talk about how CID can support states through the process.
The toolkit is laid out in a logical order, in 6 steps. Each step is divided into 2 to 4 tasks. Each task is broken down into manageable activities. Many activities are accompanied by resources like a template or worksheet that help states and TA providers accomplish these activities. Once all the resources have been completed, states will have a fully realized package of documentation that contributes to efficient implementation of Generate and sustainability of practices in the future.
Step 1 defines goals for integration.
Step 1 supports states as they create the use case, define scope of the project, and determine and secure required resources for integration. While completing step 1, states can solidify an organizational vision for the changes that come with integrating data and gain supporters from across the department for the integration effort. We are going to show you some of the resources available for step 1.
Task 1 of this step is to define the use case and goals for integration. Defining the use case sets the stage and allows state staff to knowledgeably talk about what the integration of data will accomplish. This process can identify data integration needs, the required data, stakeholders, and help states to consider timing and risks for the project. Let's take a look at the template.
The use case template available on the CID website and in the toolkit has sections that teams can complete either independently or with the support of a TA provider. Sections include the use case title, use case summary, needs statements and associated questions, data required, stakeholder impact and data access, timing and calendar considerations, and risks and mitigations. All of the information that teams enter into the use case template begins to feed into your documentation. For example, the stakeholders documented here may feed into the communication plan, which states use to determine who needs to be updated on progress or when decisions need to be made.
The next activity is to present the use case to stakeholders and make any necessary changes according to their feedback. Stakeholders can include agency leadership or a group of LEAs who provide feedback on data governance issues at the state level. Getting buy-in from stakeholders sets a tone of collaboration and transparency from the beginning of the integration project.
The next task builds on the agreement of the reason for undertaking a data integration project and defines the parameters of the project. There are 2 activities that help to define the scope and orient the team to the current state of the SEA data system. Discussing CID discussing the SID-TA self-assessment and data system architectures may bring to light areas of work that states would like to accomplish in the future while setting limits necessary for data integration.
The first activity is to assess the framework of the SEA. SID-TA self-assessment is not posted on the website, but it is available through SID-TA providers who can help to facilitate the process. Here, the project team will review the data governance policies and procedures, communication processes, alignment of the data to be integrated, and staff resources that are available. It is also a useful tool for evaluating progress when completed before and after the integration process.
The next activity is to document the state's data system architecture or enterprise architecture by creating a visual representation with SID-TA providers. You will discuss what the sources of the data are, how the system components connect, how data moves through the system, and whether the data will be in the same place after integration. This activity helps teams identify which data sets are able to be integrated, which need to be mapped for integration, and helps team members understand how data move through the system, and generally what integration will look like. Finally, the scope document is developed. By combining the goals set out in the use case, results from the self-assessment, and takeaways from the data system architecture, the scope defines the extent and limits of the work that will be completed. The SID scope template will also define the support that SID-TA providers offer for the duration of the project. Teams will finish step 1 of the toolkit with common understanding of the project to come.
The very last part of step 1 is for state teams to confirm support and security of resources for the project with agency leadership and stakeholders. This activity is an important stop on the journey to make sure that people in your organization have the time to dedicate to the project and that there are resources to balance ongoing EDVAC submissions and other data-related tasks with the increased workload, including tasks like mapping data, installing, generate, and matching files.
Once you've laid the groundwork and introduced the integration project to stakeholders, it's time to bring the team together and chart a course for the work. Step 2 is to establish a project plan and structures for data integration work. The second step in the toolkit contains tasks to guide teams through documenting roles and responsibilities and a complete project plan.
As a part of making the Generate implementation team official, you will need to confirm a project manager who leads the work and serves as a main point of contact for project team members, agency leadership, and NETA providers. Using the roles and responsibilities document that will be included in the new version of the toolkit, states can clearly define the role of business analysts, developers, and special education program staff in terms of their responsibilities on the integration project. Documenting these roles can clear up confusion on who is completing certain tasks and helps in the event of staff turnover.
A communications plan, for which we provide a template in the toolkit, is another important piece of documentation that fosters clear discussion around who needs to know what and when, and sets expectations for sharing relevant information across the project team, across SEA departments, and with stakeholders. Completing the communication plan includes documenting regular project meetings, lists of project documentation, and stakeholder reporting. This helps to set the stage for smooth implementation of Generate, helps to minimize delays and confusion surrounding communications.
Once roles, responsibility, and communication patterns are clarified and documented, it's time to develop a project plan. How are you actually going to do the work? Hone in on the specifics of project management, including things like maintaining documentation, organizing and facilitating regular meetings, and ensuring timelines of completed tasks. You will also develop a project plan, including the necessary steps for integration. These steps include creating a calendar with a timeline for implementation, designing tasks like mapping datasets, writing ETLs, completing ETL checklists, installing Generate, matching datasets, and of course, submitting data files created by Generate. Let's look at a sample project plan.
Completing the project plan, shown here, is the final part of step 2 and pulls together all the decisions your team has made so far. This project plan template has the required steps at a much more detailed level. On this screen, under Child Count and Educational Environments, you can see the first few rows contain step-by-step details on how staff will identify and map data elements in CEDS. Since your team has already clarified roles and calendar considerations, completing the project management plan should be relatively straightforward. By carefully applying due dates and calendar considerations, you will be able to predict periods when certain team members may need to focus on other deadlines or when a task must be completed by a certain date. SID-TA providers are available to help create and execute a project plan for your state. Once steps 1 and 2 are complete, it's time to launch the project and begin all the steps like mapping data elements to CEDS, writing ETLs, and installing Generate. The SID team is happy to talk to you about the possibilities of using Generate in your state and to review other ways the toolkit can support data integration and improve data quality.
Oh, and here's our contact information. Please feel free to reach out to us or contact the SID project team through the SID website with any additional questions. Thanks so much for listening and have a great day.
Thank you.